I used to measure my worth by the number of times my family called for help. Yesenia, can you pick up Mum's prescriptions? Yesenia, I need a ride to work. Yesenia, can you watch the kids? I was their rock, their solution to every problem, their eternal safety net. Until the day I became the problem. My name is Yesenia, and I never thought I'd be sitting in a doctor's office alone, gripping the armrest so hard my knuckles turned white, hearing words that would shatter my world. The tests came back positive. It's stage 2 breast cancer. Dr. Marshall's voice faded into a distant hum as I stared at the pamphlets on his desk. The same desk where I'd sat countless times with my mother, translating her symptoms into English, or with my sister Vienna during her pregnancy scares. Now it was my turn, and the chair beside me was empty. Do you have someone we can call? Dr. Marshall asked, his pen hovering over his notepad. My family, I said automatically, reaching for my phone. They'll want to know. My hands trembled as I dialed Vienna's number first. She answered on the 4th ring, the sound of her kids screaming in the background. Yessie, I'm kind of busy right now. I'm at the doctor's, I cut in, my voice cracking. It's cancer. The background noise suddenly died. Oh my God, she whispered. Are you sure? Stage 2 breast cancer. Let me call you back, she interrupted. Isaiah just got here and Mum's waiting for us to pick her up for lunch. I'll call you later, okay? The line went dead before I could respond. That evening, they all showed up at my apartment. Mom, Vienna, and Isaiah. They brought casseroles I didn't ask for and worried looks that didn't quite reach their eyes. We'll help however we can, Mum said, arranging the food in my fridge. But you know I can't drive you to appointments. My arthritis. I've got the kids, Vienna added quickly. And work. But maybe on weekends. Isaiah shifted uncomfortably. My new job's really demanding, sis, but I'll try to check in when I can. I nodded, smile frozen in place, already seeing the shape of things to come. Within weeks, their promises evaporated like morning dew. My calls went to voicemail. Text messages received brief, delayed responses. Sorry, busy. Can't today. Maybe next time. The final blow came 6 weeks later. I was sitting in my hospital room after my first round of chemo, violently ill and desperately alone. Through the thin curtain, I heard familiar voices in the hallway. I can't keep doing this, Vienna was saying. The kids need me. Work needs me. She's becoming such a burden. I know, Mum replied softly. But what can we do? She's always been the strong one. She'll figure it out. Maybe we should look into some kind of facility, Isaiah suggested. You know, where they handle these things. I pressed my hands against my mouth, muffling the sob that threatened to escape. These were the same people I'd dropped everything for countless times. The same sister whose children I'd watched while she pursued her career. The same brother whose rent I'd covered during his finding himself phase. The same mother whose medical appointments I'd never missed. A nurse found me an hour later, still crying. Her name tag read Sarah, and she had kind eyes that crinkled at the corners. Honey, she said, checking my IV, sometimes family isn't who you're born to, but who shows up when you need them most? I wiped my eyes with the scratchy hospital tissue. I don't have anyone else, she smiled, pressing a flyer into my hand. There's a support group that meets here every Tuesday. Cancer survivors and fighters supporting each other. Give it a try. I stared at the paper, my vision blurring. I don't know. What's the worst that could happen? She squeezed my shoulder. You're already alone, aren't you? That night, I lay in my empty apartment, surrounded by the evidence of my family's gradual disappearance. Unanswered messages, cancelled plans, hollow promises. The flyer sat on my nightstand, a beacon in the darkness. As I drifted off to sleep, my sister's words echoed in my head. Such a burden. I'd spent my whole life being the family anchor, and now they'd cut me loose to drown. But maybe, just maybe, that nurse was right. Maybe it was time to find out who would actually show up when I needed them most. Little did I know that support group flyer would become my lifeline, and the beginning of something much bigger than my family could ever imagine. The hospital basement wasn't exactly welcoming. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as I followed the hand-drawn signs to Room B14 Cancer Support Group. My steps echoed in the empty corridor, each one screaming at me to turn back. First time? A warm voice startled me. A tall man with kind eyes and a shaved head stood by the door, holding a stack of paper cups. I'm Aaron. I lead this little band of warriors. I'm Yesenia, I managed, tugging self-consciously at my headscarf. The nurse upstairs, Sarah. She suggested I come? Ah, Sarah, our best recruiter. He grinned, gesturing toward the room. Come on in. We're just getting started. The circle of chairs wasn't full. Maybe 10 people total. A young woman with vibrant tattoos covering her arms caught my eye and waved enthusiastically. New blood, she called out. Come sit by me. I'm Callie. I settled into the metal folding chair, clutching my purse like a shield. Aaron took his place in the circle, balancing a coffee pot on his knee. Welcome, everyone, he began. We have a new friend today. Yesenia, would you like to share? My throat tightened. I don't... Hey, no pressure, Callie interrupted, shooting Aaron a look. When I first came here, I couldn't say a word. Just cried for 3 meetings straight. A few knowing chuckles rippled through the group. Someone passed me a tissue box. Stage 2 breast cancer, I finally said. Diagnosed 6 weeks ago. Support system? Aaron asked gently. I stared at my hands. Not anymore. Family? Bailed? Callie's voice was sharp. When I nodded, she snorted. Welcome to the club, honey. My husband left 2 weeks after my diagnosis. Said he couldn't handle it. My kids stopped calling, an elderly woman added. Too busy with their lives to deal with a sick mother. That's why we're here, Aaron said, pouring coffee into cups. Sometimes the family you choose is stronger than the family you're born into. The meeting continued, stories flowing freely. Tales of triumph, of fear, of rage, of hope. No platitudes, no toxic positivity, just raw, honest truth. Afterward, Callie caught up with me in the parking lot. Hey, wait up. Give me your phone. What? Your phone. You're not doing this alone anymore. She grabbed my iPhone, typing quickly. There. Now you have my number. Text me anytime. Day, night, whatever. We cancer bitches gotta stick together. I smiled, my first genuine smile in weeks. Thanks. First chemo next week? Second, actually. Tuesday at 9. Perfect, I'll be there. I'm getting my infusion at 10 anyway. She saw my surprise and shrugged. Nobody should sit through that alone. True to her word, Callie showed up on Tuesday, armed with magazines, snacks, and a portable DVD player. Trust me, hospital TV sucks. As the drugs dripped into my veins, we watched bad reality shows and shared stories. She told me about her ex-husband, how he'd packed his bags while she was still in the hospital. But look at me now, she said, flexing her tattooed arm. Each new piece of ink marks another milestone. This phoenix? That's from when my hair grew back. The lotus? First clean scan. You make it sound so manageable. It's not. It's hell. But you know what's worse? Letting those who abandoned us win. She leaned forward, eyes intense. They expect us to disappear, become invisible, to be their burden and fade away. Screw that. The nurse came to check my vitals, frowning at my elevated heart rate. Everything okay? Never better, I said and meant it. That night, my phone buzzed with a group text. Callie had added me to something called Cancer Warriors Squad. Messages poured in. welcome notes, emoji hearts, offers of help. Need a ride to appointments. I'm free most mornings. Maria. Got some headscarves I'm not using anymore? Different colours? Jen. Movie night this Saturday at my place. No sad films allowed. Callie. I was typing a response when another text came through. From Vienna. Hey, sis. Sorry I've been busy. How are you? For the first time, I didn't immediately reply. Instead, I turned back to the group chat, where Callie was organising a schedule for chemo buddy sessions. Count me in, I typed, and I'm never becoming invisible again. The responses were immediate. Hell yeah! That's our girl! Aidoshu, welcome to the family. I set my phone down, looking around my apartment. The space that had felt so empty now seemed full of possibility. My old family might have walked away, but something told me this new one wasn't going anywhere. And neither was I. You did what? Callie's voice echoed through my kitchen as she rummaged through my cabinets, replacing my processed foods with organic alternatives. 2 months had passed since my first support group meeting, and she'd appointed herself my unofficial health guru. I blocked their numbers, I repeated, watching her work. All of them. Mom, Vienna, Isaiah. About damn time. She set down a bag of quinoa with unnecessary force. How long has it been since any of them actually showed up? 6 weeks? Mum sent a thinking of you text last month. Vienna keeps posting on Facebook about how hard it is having a sick sister. Callie rolled her eyes. Yeah, must be really tough for her, posting sympathy bait while she's at brunch. The doorbell rang, interrupting our conversation. Aaron stood there with Maria and 2 other women from the group, all carrying containers of food. Meal train delivery, Maria announced, pushing past me into the kitchen. We've got enough to fill your freezer for the next 2 weeks. You guys didn't have to? Shut up and accept the love, Callie called from the kitchen. That's rule number 1 of Cancer Warriors Squad. As they unpacked the food, I noticed Aaron hanging back, watching with a slight smile. Penny, for your thoughts? I asked, or just remembering when Callie first joined the group, he said. Angry, scared, wouldn't let anyone help her. Now look. I followed his gaze to where Callie was demonstrating proper food storage techniques to Maria, her tattoos catching the afternoon light. She told me her story yesterday, I said. About her ex-husband, her old friends? Aaron nodded. She lost everything, or so she thought. Then she built something better. He turned to me. That's what you're doing too, you know. Before I could respond, Callie clapped her hands. Squad meeting! Living room now! We gathered on my mismatched furniture, a collection of pieces donated by group members when they learned I'd sold most of mine to cover medical bills. Okay, so I had this idea, Callie began, practically vibrating with excitement. You know how the hospital's annual charity gala is coming up? Maria groaned. That stuffy thing where rich people pretend to care? Exactly. But what if we did our own event? Something real, something that shows what cancer actually looks like. Not just the sad commercials and pink ribbons, but the people who show up and the people who don't. The room went quiet. Aaron leaned forward. What are you thinking? A charity event, but honest. Stories from survivors, fighters, families who stepped up, resources for people going through it alone. Callie turned to me. Yesenia could be our keynote speaker. Me? I squeaked. I'm not even done with treatment. That's exactly why it should be you. You're living it right now. The good, the bad, the people who disappeared, and the family you found instead. And your old family? Maria asked quietly. Would you invite them? The question hung in the air. I thought about my mother's excuses. Vienna's performative social media posts. Isaiah's complete silence. Yes, I said finally. Let them see what they walked away from. Let them see who showed up instead. Callie whooped, jumping up to hug me. That's my girl. Aaron, you know people at the hospital, right? Can you help us get space? I might know someone in event planning, he said, pulling out his phone. Let me make a call. As the group buzzed with excitement, planning and delegating tasks, I felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just about survival anymore. This was about transformation. What should we call it? Maria asked. Never invisible, I said without hesitation. Because that's what they wanted us to be, isn't it? Invisible burdens they could ignore? Callie's eyes welled up. Damn right. And look at us now. We're practically glowing. That evening, after everyone left, I sat in my living room, surrounded by evidence of their care. Organised cabinets, full freezer, event plans scribbled on notepads. My phone buzzed with a Facebook notification. Vienna had posted another status about her brave sister's battle. I opened my laptop and began typing. Dear Vienna, Mom, and Isaiah, you're invited to an event I'm organising. I attached the preliminary flyer Callie had designed, complete with my name listed as keynote speaker. Then I added, I hope you can make it. I have some things to say about family, about showing up, and about becoming visible again. Love, Yesenia. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I opened the group chat. Email sent. No turning back now. The responses flooded in immediately. We've got you. They won't know what hit them. Time to shine, warrior. For the first time since my diagnosis, I felt truly powerful. They tried to make me disappear, but instead I was about to become impossible to ignore. The venue's too small, Meki said, pacing the hospital conference room. As the event director, he'd taken our modest proposal and transformed it into something bigger than any of us had imagined. We've got twice the RSVPs we expected. How many? I asked, looking up from my draft speech. 300 and counting. Local news wants to cover it. 2 cancer research foundations called this morning about sponsorship. He ran a hand through his close-cropped hair. Yesenia, this isn't just an event anymore. It's becoming a movement. Callie burst through the door, waving her phone. You're trending. I'm what? Your story. Someone shared it on Twitter, and it's exploding. Look. She thrust her phone at me. My email to my family had somehow leaked online, along with Vienna's social media posts about her brave sister. The contrast between her words and actions had struck a nerve. My family abandoned me during cancer is trending, Meki read over my shoulder. The responses... I scrolled through them, my hand shaking. This happened to me too. Never invisible. Where can I donate to this event? Someone, please, tell me when and where this is happening. Oh God, I whispered. What have we started? Something necessary, Aaron said from the doorway. He entered with a stack of papers. The hospital board just approved moving the event to the main auditorium. They're waiving all fees. My phone buzzed. A text from Vienna. Just saw your email and the Twitter trend. What are you trying to prove? Before I could respond, another message appeared from Mum. Why are you doing this to us? We're your family. Don't answer them, Callie said firmly, taking my phone. Save it for the speech. Meki cleared his throat. Speaking of the speech, we should work on that. The media attention means every word will matter. We spent the next 3 hours crafting my message. No accusations, no bitterness, just truth. Raw, unfiltered truth about abandonment, about finding strength in unexpected places, about redefining family. Read that last part again, Meki said, his eyes intense. I picked up the paper. Family isn't measured by blood or birth certificates. It's measured by who shows up when the world goes dark. It's measured by who stays when staying gets hard. Sometimes, the family you find loves you better than the family you were given. That's it, he whispered. That's the heart of everything. A knock at the door interrupted us. A reporter from the local news station stood there with a cameraman. "We heard about what you're doing," she said. "Would you be willing to do an interview?" I looked at my support squad. Callie nodded encouragingly. Aaron gave a thumbs up, and Mekki stepped forward with his event planner smile. "Give us 10 minutes to set up," he said professionally. During those 10 minutes, my phone exploded with notifications. Isaiah had finally broken his silence with a long text about how I was tearing the family apart. 3 of my aunts called to ask why I was airing dirty laundry. Vienna posted another status about forgiveness and understanding. "You don't have to do this," Aaron said quietly as the camera crew set up. "We can stop now. I thought about all the others like me, sitting alone in hospital rooms, checking phones that never ring, watching families walk away." "Yes, I do," I replied. "Not just for me anymore." The interview was surprisingly easy. The words flowed naturally as I described the isolation, the support group, the unexpected family I'd found. I didn't bash my biological family. I simply told the truth about their choices and the consequences. "And what do you hope people take away from your event?" the reporter asked. "That invisible doesn't mean gone, that abandoned doesn't mean broken, that sometimes the best families are the ones we build ourselves." After they left, Mekki showed me the event's registration page on his laptop. The numbers were still climbing. "We're going to need more chairs," he said, but his smile was proud. "And Yesenia, you're going to need a better outfit than that hospital gown." "Shopping trip," Callie declared. "Cancer Warriors Squad, assemble." As they discussed outfit options and camera angles, my phone buzzed one more time. A text from my mother. "Please don't do this. We can work this out privately." I showed it to Callie, who snorted. Little late for privacy now. They had their chance to show up. Now they get to watch you shine. Looking around the room at my new family, Callie with her fierce loyalty, Aaron with his quiet strength, Mekki with his unwavering support, I realized something. I wasn't just planning an event anymore. I was leading a revolution of the forgotten, the abandoned, the ones who refused to disappear. And we were just getting started. The coffee shop was neutral territory, public enough to feel safe, private enough for the conversation I'd been dreading. Vienna sat across from me, stirring her latte with mechanical precision, her designer purse positioned like a barrier between us. "You look," she paused, searching for words, "different." "Cancer does that," I replied, touching my headscarf, a vibrant blue one Callie had given me. "Among other things. Mom's upset, you know. She can barely sleep. Funny how my cancer didn't keep her up, but this does." Vienna flinched. "That's not fair. We were all dealing with it the best we could." "By not dealing with it at all?" A text lit up my phone. "Callie, you okay? Need backup? I'm 5 minutes away." I smiled, typing back. "I'm good. Standing my ground." "Who's that?" Vienna asked, peering at my phone. "One of your new friends?" "Family," I corrected. "The ones who showed up." "We're your family, Yesenia. Your real family." The barista called out another order, filling the awkward silence between us. I watched Vienna's perfectly manicured fingers drum against her cup. "Why are you really here?" I asked finally. "The event," she said. "It's all over social media. People from church are asking questions. Mum's friends are calling. Even Isaiah's boss saw the interview." "Embarrassing for you, I imagine." "It's not about embarrassment," she leaned forward. "It's about privacy. About handling things within the family." "Privacy?" I laughed, drawing looks from nearby tables. "Like your Facebook posts about your brave sister's battle while you ignored my calls? That kind of privacy?" I was trying to show support. You were performing support. There's a difference. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through screenshots. Let's see. March 15th. Watching my sister fight this terrible disease is breaking my heart. That was the day I begged you to drive me to chemo. You said you were too busy. I had the kids. April 3rd. Family is everything during times like these. That was when Mum told the hospital staff not to call her anymore because it was too stressful. Stop it, Vienna whispered. May 1st. Sometimes the strongest people face the hardest battles. Posted right after Isaiah suggested putting me in a facility because I was too much to handle. What do you want from us? Her voice cracked. Nothing anymore. That's the point. I stood up, gathering my things. The event isn't about exposing you. It's about showing others like me that disappearing isn't the only option. We'll be there, she said quickly. All of us. We'll show everyone we support you. No, I replied. You'll show everyone what you lost. My phone buzzed again. Meki this time. Emergency event meeting. Big sponsors want to talk. I have to go, I told Vienna. My family needs me. The walk to my car felt longer than usual. When I reached it, I found Callie leaning against the driver's side door. Couldn't stay away, could you? I asked. Nope. How'd it go? About what you'd expect. They're coming to the event? Good. Her smile was fierce. Let them see what real support looks like. At the hospital, Meki and Aaron were waiting with news that made my head spin. 3 major cancer research foundations wanted to partner with us. A national morning show wanted to feature our story. This is bigger than we imagined, Aaron said, spreading papers across the conference table. Your story touched something in people. The abandoned, the forgotten, they're all coming forward. We've got stories pouring in, Meki added. People wanting to share their experiences, offering to help, asking how they can start their own support networks. My phone buzzed yet again. Mum this time. Please reconsider what you're doing. We can fix this. Callie read the message over my shoulder and snorted. Little late for fixing, isn't it? Way too late, I agreed, putting my phone away. So what's next? Next, Meki said, pulling up a presentation on his laptop. We show them exactly what they walked away from. Not just you, all of us, every person who was told they were too much, too difficult, too sick to love. The Warrior Squad goes national, Callie added with a grin, looking at their eager faces. My real family, my chosen family. I felt stronger than I had in months. The cancer was still there, still fighting, but so was I. And I wasn't fighting alone anymore. Let's do it, I said. Let's show them all what invisible looks like in the spotlight. The room erupted in cheers and hugs. As we began planning the expanded event, I realized Vienna was right about one thing. I was different now. I was visible, I was powerful, and I was loved. Just not by the people who should have loved me first. The hospital auditorium hummed with energy. Hundreds of people filled the seats, many wearing blue scarves like mine. Our symbol had caught on faster than we'd expected. Camera crews lined the back wall, and volunteers wearing Never Invisible t-shirts guided latecomers to their seats. 5 minutes, Meki called from backstage, where I paced in my new blue dress. Yesenia, stop walking. You'll wear out your shoes before you even get out there. They're here, Callie announced, peeking through the curtain. Front row, looking uncomfortable as hell. I didn't need to ask who she meant. How do they look? Like people who just realised they backed the wrong horse. Your mum keeps fixing her hair, Vienna's on her phone, and Isaiah looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. Aaron appeared with a bottle of water. Remember what we practiced. You're not speaking to them. You're speaking to everyone else in that room who knows what it feels like. Speaking of which, Meki interrupted, you need to see this. He led me to a side curtain and gestured to the audience. Mixed among the crowd were dozens of people holding up small signs. Abandoned by husband of 20 years. My children stopped calling. Parents said I was too much trouble. They're all here for you, Callie whispered. For us. The stage lights dimmed, and Meki gave me a gentle push. That's your cue. Show them what visible looks like. My heels clicked against the stage as I approached the podium. The spotlight felt warm on my face, and for a moment, everything went quiet. Then I saw them. My mother's forced smile, Vienna's nervous fidgeting, Isaiah's averted eyes. My name is Yesenia, I began, my voice steady. 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, but that's not really what this story is about. The audience leaned forward as I continued. This is a story about what happens when the people who should love you most decide you're too difficult to love. It's about what happens when family becomes a performance rather than a presence. I saw Vienna's phone drop into her lap, but mostly, it's a story about what happens when you refuse to disappear. I gestured to the side stage, where Callie and the others waited. When I was at my lowest, strangers became family. When my blood relatives stepped back, warriors stepped forward. The audience erupted in applause as my support group members joined me on stage, Callie with her vibrant tattoos, Aaron with his gentle smile, Maria with her warm eyes, and dozens more. Look around this room, I continued. Every person here has a story about abandonment, about being told they're too much, too sick, too needy, but we're done being invisible. More applause, more people standing, signs raised higher. To those who walked away, our parents, children, spouses, friends, we want you to see what you left behind. We're not bitter. We're not broken. We built something better. My mother's hand covered her mouth. Isaiah shifted in his seat. We created a family that shows up, that stays, that understands love isn't convenient. It's a choice you make every single day, especially on the hard days. Callie stepped forward, taking my hand. One by one, others joined us, forming a line across the stage. This is what invisible looks like, I said, gesturing to our group. This is what happens when you leave people behind. We find each other. We lift each other up. We shine. The audience rose in a standing ovation. Through tears, I saw Vienna trying to clap while wiping her eyes. Mom sat frozen, staring at the stage. Isaiah looked like he wanted to sink through the floor. But it wasn't about them anymore. After the speech, people lined up to share their stories, to hug, to join our growing network. News crews interviewed survivors and supporters. Foundation representatives discussed expanding the program nationwide. You did it, Meki said, appearing at my side with a tissue. You actually did it. We did it, I corrected, watching Callie organise a group photo of survivors. All of us. Through the crowd, I saw my family making their way toward me. But before they could reach me, I was surrounded by my real family. The ones who chose me, who showed up, who stayed. Ready to face them? Aaron asked quietly. I looked at the warriors around me, my true family, my chosen strength, and smiled. I already have. Everything else is just details. As my mother called my name across the crowded room, I turned instead to a young woman holding a sign that read, "Just diagnosed, feeling alone." "Come meet my family," I said, taking her hand. "Trust me, you'll never be invisible again." Behind me, I heard my mother's voice fade into the crowd, drowned out by the sound of something much more powerful, the voice of those who refused to disappear. "Yesenia, please." My mother's voice cut through the post-event chaos. She stood at the edge of our group, looking smaller than I remembered. "We need to talk." Callie stepped closer to me, her protective instinct kicking in, but I touched her arm. "It's okay. I've got this." I followed my mother to a quiet corner of the auditorium. Vienna and Isaiah joined us, forming a familiar semicircle that once meant family, but now felt like a tribunal. That speech, Mum began, wringing her hands. Those things you said were true, I finished on every word. We didn't mean to, Vienna started. To what? I interrupted. To skip every chemotherapy appointment? To ignore my calls? To discuss putting me in a facility when you thought I couldn't hear? Isaiah flinched. We were scared. So was I. The force of my voice made them step back. I was terrified. I needed my family. Instead, I got Facebook posts and empty promises. We're here now, Mum pleaded, because it's convenient, because it's public, because people might judge you if you're not. I gestured to the crowd behind me. Look at them. Really look. Every person here knows what it feels like to be abandoned by the people who should have loved them most. Vienna's eyes filled with tears. We do love you. Love isn't a feeling, Vienna. It's not a social media post or a greeting card. It's showing up. It's staying. It's choosing someone even when it's hard. Like they did. Isaiah nodded toward my support group, who were pretending not to watch from a distance. Exactly like they did. Strangers who became family because my family became strangers. Mum reached for my hand, but I stepped back. What do you want from us? Nothing, I said softly. That's what you don't understand. I don't want anything from you anymore. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm just free. Free, Vienna's voice cracked. Free from waiting for your calls. Free from making excuses for your absence. Free from believing I needed you to be whole. A commotion near the stage drew our attention. A young woman was sharing her story, her voice carrying across the room. My husband left me 3 months into treatment, said he didn't sign up for this. Today is the first day I don't feel ashamed of being sick. That's what this is about, I told my family. Not revenge, not punishment. It's about showing people they don't have to disappear just because someone decided they were too difficult to love. But we're still your family, Mum insisted. No, I said gently. You're my relatives. There's a difference. Family are the people who show up when showing up matters. As if on cue, Callie appeared at my side. Sorry to interrupt, but the news crew needs you for the final segment. They want to film the support group together. I turned back to my mother, sister, and brother. They stood frozen, a portrait of too little, too late. I have to go, I said. My family needs me. Yesenia, wait, Vienna called out. Can't we fix this? I paused. Some things, once broken, don't get fixed. They get rebuilt into something stronger. Walking away from them felt like setting down a heavy weight I'd carried for too long. Callie squeezed my hand as we joined the others. You okay? She whispered. Better than okay, I replied, watching my biological family retreat through the crowd. I'm free. The news crew positioned us near the Never Invisible banner. Aaron stood at the centre, surrounded by survivors, supporters, warriors. As the cameras rolled, he spoke about the future. Support networks spreading nationwide, resources for the abandoned, community for the isolated. And it all started with one woman, he said, pulling me forward, who refused to disappear. The crew caught it all, the hugs, the tears, the promises to stay connected. They filmed as we exchanged phone numbers with new members, as Callie showed off her latest tattoo, Never Invisible in flowing script, as Meki discussed plans for the next event. Later, as we cleaned up the auditorium, I found a note on the podium. I recognised my mother's handwriting. We're sorry, we were wrong. If you ever want to try again. Callie read it over my shoulder. What are you going to do? I folded the note and slipped it into my pocket. Keep moving forward. They had their chance to be my family. Now it's time to be family to someone else who needs it. As if to punctuate my words, a small group of newly diagnosed patients approached, looking nervous but hopeful. "Is it true," one asked, "that we can join your family?" I opened my arms, remembering my first support group meeting, remembering what it felt like to find home in unexpected places. "Welcome to the Warriors," I said. "You're visible now, and you always will be." The hospital corridor felt different now. No more echoing loneliness, no more cold, fluorescent despair. I walked toward Dr. Marshall's office with Callie on one side and Aaron on the other, their presence steady and sure. "Last scan," Callie said, squeezing my hand. "You've got this." The waiting room was filled with familiar faces, support group members who'd shown up just to sit with us. Maria brought coffee. Meki took a break from planning our next event to be here. Even Sarah, the nurse who'd first handed me that life-changing support group flyer, stopped by to check in. "Yesenia?" Dr. Marshall called, his smile warm. "Ready?" Inside his office, he pulled up my scans on the screen. The same screen where I'd first seen the cancer that changed everything. I held my breath. "Clear," he said simply. "Complete remission." The cheers from outside his office told me everyone had been eavesdropping. The door burst open, and suddenly I was surrounded by hugs, tears, and laughter. "Party at my place," Callie announced. "Everyone's coming." "Wait," I said, pulling out my phone. "There's something I need to do first." I opened my messages and typed, "Mum, Vienna, Isaiah, I'm cancer-free. Thank you for showing me exactly what I didn't need in my life. I forgive you not for you, but for me. I hope you've learned something about love and presence. If not, that's okay too. I found my real family." "Sent it?" Aaron asked. I nodded, putting my phone away. "Now, let's celebrate." Callie's apartment was packed. Someone had already hung a "Cancer-Free Queen" banner, and the walls were covered with photos from our events and meetings. In one corner, a young woman who'd just started treatment was getting advice from a survivor. In another, Meki was showing off plans for our expanding support network. "Look what came today," Aaron said, handing me a thick envelope. Inside was official documentation. Never Invisible was now a registered non-profit organisation. We had funding, sponsors, and chapters starting in 3 other cities. From one support group in a hospital basement, I marvelled, to this. "Speaking of which," Callie interrupted, climbing onto a chair and clinking her glass. "Everyone, shut up! Our warrior queen has an announcement." All eyes turned to me. These faces, some still bearing the marks of treatment, others showing the scars of survival, all shining with love and strength, had become more than friends. They were the family I chose, the ones who chose me back. When I first walked into that basement support group, I began, I thought I was alone. My biological family had decided I was too much work, too much trouble, too much everything. But you showed me that being too much just means you haven't found the people who can handle all of you. Cheers and applause filled the room. So, today, standing here cancer-free, I'm not just celebrating survival, I'm celebrating discovery. I discovered that family isn't about blood, it's about choice. Every day we choose each other. Every day we show up. Every day we prove that invisible isn't our story. "Preach!" someone shouted. "Starting next week, I'm becoming a full-time advocate for Never Invisible. We're going to find every person who's been abandoned during illness, every fighter who's been told they're too much, every warrior who needs a family. And we're going to show them what real support looks like." The room erupted. Callie jumped down from her chair to hug me, her latest tattoo, a phoenix rising, visible on her arm. My phone buzzed. A text from Vienna. "We miss you. We're sorry. Can we try again?" I showed it to Callie, who snorted. "What are you going to say?" Looking around the room at my chosen family, at the love that filled every corner, at the strength that flowed between us. I knew my answer. "Nothing," I said, putting my phone away. "I'm done looking backward. There are too many people ahead who need us." As if to prove my point, a new member raised her hand. "I got diagnosed yesterday. My husband left this morning. I don't know what to do. Come here," I said, opening my arms. The room shifted to include her, dozens of warriors ready to support another fighter. "Welcome to the family," we said in unison. And in that moment, surrounded by the people who chose to love me when love mattered most, I realized something profound. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you leads you to the best people you'll ever know. We were never invisible. We just needed to find the right eyes to see us. And now we shine.